my first question is, can you hear okay and see me as well? Please type in the box that we know that everything's good and that you could hear me clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So as many of you might know, my name is Chrissy, and I am North America's RefectoCil's North America head trainer. And what we want to do today is have this lash lift webinar to show you how easy it is to do a lash lift along with a brow tinting and a lash tinting in about 30 minutes in your salon services. Now today might not be 30 minutes because we'll be also answering your questions. So by all means, throw out any questions you have along the way. I will have Natasha let me know what the questions are, and then I will answer them along the way. We did change a little bit the layout. Whoever attended the webinar last 3 months ago in November, whoever attended that webinar, we did it sitting up. We found a little bit of issues with you being able to see what I was doing. So what we're going to do today is try it laying down with the camera is going to be facing as a bird's eye on top of the client's, the model's face. So I hope this works out well and everybody can see properly. If my big fingers are in the way, just let me know if I'm covering anything. And once again, please ask questions so that we can be able, so I can be able to assist you with any issues you might be having with the lash lift. And if you do enjoy the lash lift, share those comments as well. Okay, so first I just want to show for anybody who's new with the RefectoCil lash lift. This is our kit, what it looks like, our RefectoCil lash lift kit. And I'm going to show inside as well so that you can see what it contains. So it's to make 36 applications. You will do 36 lash lifts. So you will have 2 sets of the Lash Perm and Neutralizer. You will have your brushes, you will have your glue, you will have your application stick, your 2 bowls, your instruction booklet, and as well your 3 different sizes for your silicone pads, which are small, medium, and large. So if anybody is aware of we have our RefectoCil lash curl as well, which is with rollers, and now we have our lash lift which are with pads. So what I would like to throw a strong advice suggestion is be careful you do not mix the glues, okay? Along with do not use a lash lift glue in the lash curl glue, and do not use a lash curl glue in the lash lift. You will encounter problems. The glues are each catered to each of the service, okay? Otherwise, the Perm solution and Neutralizer solution, they are the same. So when you're replenishing your kits for either your curl or your lash lift, you're using the same solutions, okay? Any questions so far? Because I'd like to give the time that we have to do the actual demonstration, and then we can answer questions along the way, okay?
That's good.
Yeah, so we're going to just give us a minute or so, as the camera will be shaking a little bit, so do not stare directly at the screen. We're going to adjust it to in front of our model. And right here we have our lovely model Tyrene, who is going to get her lash list. Yeah, perfect. So if everybody can see that clearly, let me know. Is it blurry? Oops.
Why is it blurry? It was blurry before.
Do you want to use my jacket? Oh. Yeah, it's better. Oh, I just hit that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I think it's good. Everybody's answering okay? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so with all of our services, any services you do, you need to do your prep work. And right now, what we're going to do is, I asked my model to come in without any makeup, sorry, but you still have to do your cleansing, right? You got to do your non-oily eye makeup remover. You got to do your saline solution, which is very, very important. People forget to use the saline solution. Now, also what I want to mention is important when you're doing your client consultation. What I always suggest is get your customer in the day before, if you can, so you can assess their eyes, their lashes, the condition of their lashes. A lot of our clients, they will be doing lash extensions, and sometimes the lashes need to be treated a break before they come and do a lash lift. So always assess that time, and most important, please do a patch test, right? With our model here, I have done before with her a lash curl, so we've used the Perm solution and the Neutralizer, so we know that the only thing we might have to figure out today is if she's allergic to the glue, since the glues are different. But please do a patch test, either behind the ear area or on the inner forearm. Please do a patch test on the glue, the Lash, Perm, and the Neutralizer. Send them away, send them back home, and you need to give them 48 hours for a patch test, okay? With people sometimes get a reaction right away, an hour later, a day later, or 2 days later, okay? And then after that, they get back to you and they're okay, they can come back and you can do the service properly, okay? So what we're going to start off with right now is getting our non-oily eye makeup remover. I'm going to see if I could show. Oh, yeah, perfect. Oh, okay. Our eye makeup remover. And I'm going to do her cleansing. Even if they don't come with any makeup, which is preferably something that helps the service go smoother, like you can be able to finish in a half an hour if they didn't come up with makeup. If they have layered and layered of mascara, your time will be longer. But even if they come with no makeup, you still need to, oh, did my camera just shift?
Yes.
It just shifted, sorry. You need to be clean. There is some residues from the environment outside, you know, there are oils from sweat, so it's good to do that cleanse again, okay? And after I'm done doing this, I am going to go to the Saline Solution. So many forget to do the Saline Solution. And with the Saline Solution, what we're doing is we're also restoring back the pH balance of the hair. We're giving it that security that it is cleansed properly so that there's no barriers to when you are doing your service. Then your lash lift will come out properly. Usually when somebody says, oh, I didn't get a proper lift and they followed all the steps but they didn't do Saline Solution, I tell them to go back and try it again with Saline Solution, and then they come back telling me, okay, it's perfect, it worked better, because you gave that clean canvas for the hair to stick on the pads and for the solutions to penetrate through to the hair, okay? So always purchase a Saline Solution. So I finished with the non-oily eye makeup remover. Now what I will do is use the Saline Solution. Okay, now if you're going to purchase, I suggest keep it RefectoCil. Keep your line on your table here of your services all RefectoCil if you can. It gives trust to the brand and it gives you that you know what you're doing. But if you're going to use Saline Solution from the drugstore, please use the one that's in the first aid section. It's a similarity as opposed to the the contact lens solution. Okay. Now, talking about contact lenses, if they had contact lenses in, please do take them out. If they don't have their case with them, please do have on your table 2 cups with your contact solutions, disposable cups, so that you place them in there. If you leave them in there and if anything happens and solution gets in the eye, tint gets into the eye, you're going to have a hot mess of everything swishing around in there, and it will be very uncomfortable to the customer with their contacts maybe scratching the eye. Okay, so take them out. Now we're going to do the Saline Solution. Okay. Any questions so far, or we're good? We're good? We're good? Okay. So I'm going to do the Saline Solution. Now what I'll do as well, if just to showcase during that 8 minutes, I will do a brow tinting as well. So what I should have done as well is remove the makeup on the brows as well, okay? Or just anything, any oils, have a nice clean canvas, okay? So my working area now is complete. It's ready to be, oops, sorry, I shift the camera again. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to choose our pad sizes, okay? I'm just going to make sure, just with the saline again, sorry. Okay, now before I put the pads on, what I like to do is use my mascara wand just to brush out the lashes nice and straight, okay? Just so there's not too much crisscross going on. If there's a lot of crisscross going on, what will happen is when you form them onto the pads, that's how they're going to form, with crisscross stills. So they will have a hard time putting on their mascara and trying to straighten out those lashes. So give them a nice good brush, okay? Perfect. So now what we're going to do is choose the right pad sizes. So as I mentioned, we have small, medium, and large. Now with her, I will do a size small. It could be going to a size medium. My model did inform me that they are doing, they are using the INV, so their lashes are growing. So potentially her next service, she would have to go into the medium. But I'll bring out a medium as well and a small so you can just see what I'm trying to say. So here is your size medium and here's your size small. The bump in the medium has a bigger bump to it, a bigger width, okay? And this is the size small. So the lashes should reach throughout the whole pad, the bump part here, knowing that you've chosen the right pad size. If they go too below the lashes, say I'm using the medium and the lashes reach just here halfway, obviously my lift will be very soft and maybe not even a lift there. We want the lashes to go all the way to the end here, but not on the free edge. If it starts to go on this free edge, this is the free edge we use to hold it up. It never gets stick down to the skin. It just stays like that as a free edge. If it reaches there, then we're going to overly lift the lashes, and it will look very unrealistic, and it will be very blunt as well, that they will have a hard time using the mascara. So what I'll do is I'm going to place the first pad, the size small, because you can size it. You can, as with the curlers, it's a little bit harder with the rollers, but here you could place it on there. Take your orange wood stick and bend them over onto the pad just to see perfect that they are reaching. See how you can see that? Oh, I don't know if you can tell. Yep. So they are reaching and they're covering the surface of the bump. If I were to use the medium, and I'll put it the other eye so you can see as well. The end there. You're going to see a lot of empty space, okay? So for me right away, I knew when I inspected her lashes, I want to use a size small, give her the ultimate lift, and then in the future when she comes back again in her 4-6 weeks and she's using the INV, little technical difficulties, give us a minute. Yeah, perfect. Sorry about that. So as I was, nope, oh, 1 second. 1 minute. Just testing it out. Yeah? Everyone can hear? Perfect. So what I have, as I was mentioning before, I think everybody caught the part where I was saying about the right size that I chose for her. I'm sure everybody caught that. If there's anything that you didn't catch, let me know. On the back side, here's where we're going to start to apply the glue. Once again, the free edge does not get tacked down. Just this part here gets the glue. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my glue. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to put it on and cover all the way the ends as well. The ends right here so that it doesn't start to lift. Perfect. So now I'm going to wait for it to get a little tacky. I'm going to let it air for 10 to 15 seconds. I found 10 seconds was okay for me, depending how much glue you use. If you're a little bit more heavy with the glue, then you might need that 15 seconds, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very careful. I'm not going to lift too high the lid. If you lift extremely too high and then put the lid on and let go, what will happen is if you're using it on a more mature skin, the skin will push down the pad and it'll be a little bit uncomfortable, or your canvas you won't be able to see properly. So just slightly you lift it just to get it as close to the lash line as you can. Okay, so we got that very close to the lash line. Okay, so now I'm going to do that with the second one. Same method, take your glue. At the beginning your brush is a little stiff. Take it on a piece of paper and just spread it out so that your brush becomes a little bit more looser so that you can spread it better. So right now, once again, I'm getting my tips and I'm going to let it dry for that 10 seconds. Okay. Very easy. Application of the pads, very easy, very quick. Now I'm going to ask my model now is, Tyrene, do you feel okay with the glue that I place on your lid?
Yep.
Feeling okay? Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Just to see if they might feel, with the glue, they might feel a little bit of tingling, which is okay, but if it starts to intensify, then it could be that they're allergic to the glue. So that's why I always suggest, please do patch test with the glue. The glue is latex free, so for those of the majorities that are allergic to latex, it is latex free, so that's good, but you still want to not risk hurting the eyelid and doing a patch test, okay? So I got these on there, perfect. Now I'm going to grab my orange wood stick, and I'm going to apply now the glue on the top of that bump, just that bump section, okay, where the lashes are going to fall on. They're going to be placed on. Yeah, okay, so just getting an even distribution. Waiting my 10 seconds to 15 seconds, depending on how much glue you put, to allow it to get tacky. And then you can do a little bit of that airing. So that we can start rolling, okay? Now you can work in sections as well. Another thing I didn't show, which I should have shown, I showed in the other webinar, is to risk getting the bottom lashes attached to the top. Forgive me for not showing you this. You should be using our black silicone pads to isolate the bottom lashes, because worse, if you were to start rolling them onto the pad and getting them on there, especially the people who have long lashes, it's going to be hard to separate them. So always isolate the bottom lashes, okay, with the pads. Now she does have a lot of lashes, very thick. So I'm going to have to be putting more glue on top to protect them, to stick them down, okay? So I got them on there. Now if you felt like you did a little bit attach the bottom, this is what we want to avoid doing. We don't want to start, so that's why it's good that you use a pad underneath. Okay, so I'm going to just try to straighten some of these that were a little bit wonky. Now this film that comes, if it's towards the end of the tip of the lashes, it's okay, because we're not putting any solution onto the tip of the lashes. Okay. Sorry, so I'm trying to get you to a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you overwork, if you overwork the lash, what will happen is that it will start to dry off, and you can probably tell right here, it will start to dry and they will start to pop. So once you've gotten them straight and onto the pad, if you don't overwork it, when they start to dry, they'll all pop off. But I'm going to secure these lashes back down to show, because some of the issues was that the lashes started to pop off during step number 1, which is the lash perm solution. That's because the glue is dissolvable. It dissolves with the water, but any solution that's going to get to the glue is going to dissolve it as well. So the lash perm is dissolving it, and the lashes start to pop up before the 8 minutes is over. That is no problem. If you've saturated the lashes enough from the center to the base, and then the solution's on there, when they pop up, that's okay. The solution's still penetrating through the hair. The lash perm, what it's doing is breaking down the bonds and the keratin in the hair, so that afterwards when you use a neutralizer, you're recreating that shape according to the pad size that you chose. Okay, so what's important is that we need to get these lashes back down after we remove the lash perm solution. So when you remove the lash perm solution in upward motions with your dry Q-tip, then after that, you're going to re-glue them back down. Okay, so it's not a lost cause if they popped up during your service, during your lash perm, you can glue them back down as long as the lashes are back onto the pad when you do the neutralizer. Okay, so let me go now to the other side and place the glue. And we're going to allow that drying time as well. Oops. I'm going to try and do it this way, just to, might be a little bit difficult. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to start rolling them on, and what I like to do is I like to get them pretty taut onto the pad so that I can see that lash line, so that I have more control where I'm placing the solution, because we do have to put the solution from the center as close to the lash line, but you don't want to put it so close to the lash line that it touches the skin and it starts to burn. So this way I have control. So see, now I know next visit, if she's still using the like the growth serums, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have to go to a medium size, because now they're reaching to the end of this bump. Inner corner and outer corner, you try to get them all up there. Every single hair you try. So the question was, do you do the corner lashes as well? Yes. All the lashes need to get up onto the pad. Okay. And what I always tell whoever, like when you're working on the bed like this and you're working from the back side, you know, it looks like you got all the lashes. Sometimes you just got to go from the side of the customer and look to see if you got all the lashes in there. Now she does have regrowth, really short, stubborn ones. I can try and get those down with the glue, and if they cause you a lot of problem, that's okay. They're the new growth, the new regrowth, but I do my best to get those little ones too attached onto the pad so they have a little bit of a lift and they flow with the rest of the hairs. Okay, so now that I got that on there, what I want to do is I want to secure some more glue on top, which people a little bit are confused with this, because with the curl, we say be very, very, very minimal with the glue, because that glue does not dissolve and it becomes a barrier. So people are a little bit confused, and then when they go to the lash lift, they tend to use less glue as well. So it's okay to use a little bit more glue, once again in moderation. We're not going to overly clump on that glue, but what I want to do is secure on top as well the lashes. And if I felt like I wanted to, after it dries, if I wanted to put those lashes down, I can. Okay, the little stray ones, but I am securing the top part again so that they don't pop up all of them during the lash perm. Sorry? Oh, like this? There we go. Perfect.
So are you using the pads for the lower lashes?
So the question was, are we using the pads for the lower lashes? So I caught my mistake half into my webinar that you should isolate the bottom lashes with the black silicone pads It's these ones here that we have, the RefectoCil silicone pads, and you just place them onto the top of the bottom lashes so that it holds them down and they're not in your way and you're not pulling the bottom lashes to the top, okay? So right now I'm just securing those little stubborn hairs, but I'm not overly working it. If I start to work at it, then my lashes will start to fall down, okay? So it's just, once you learn to work with the glue, everything else.
Do they go straight up or a little bit of sliding?
So what's the question? Will they
go straight up or?
So the lash lift, the difference between a lash lift and a lash curl is, when we get the camera back up onto me afterwards, I will show you the difference. A lash curl is doing like a C. I can't position my hand. A C. But the lift is going up like this, straight up the lashes. So you are achieving a different look. With the lash lift, when you do it on shorter lashes, they will look longer because they're shooting straight up, as opposed to curling in with the curl. So it's preference-wise of what the customer wants. Do they want a curl? So it's because they want to experience having a curl, or do they want their lashes to stick straight up, straight up, straight up, so that they look longer? So with the glue, you shouldn't be double dipping. What you do is you get either a bunch of these disposable orange wood sticks, or what I found helps is the lip brushes, okay? Disposable lip brushes. Or if you want to be a little bit more environmentally friendly, so you're not disposing all this stuff, you can use the Q-tips, the ones that have the plastic handle where you can break it in half and use that end to apply the glue. But I found these lip brushes have helped me so that I don't double dip, because as soon as you touch, like the pads, when you're putting the glue on the pads haven't been touched. You've disinfected them and you put them away in your pouch. So I can go directly from the glue to the pads. But as soon as I start touching hair, like it was shown after, then you have to move to the lip brushes, okay? So you don't cross-contaminate, okay?
Micro ones work really great.
Yes, I have micro ones here too, right here. So these work good to put the glue on and brush them up, okay? Nope, was that a little bit blurry? There we go, okay. Sorry. Okay, so we got all the lashes up on there. So now what we want to do is we want to take our step number 1. Everything in your container, in your pouch is numbered. You have your, I'm going to just slightly bring it here. You have numbers at the end of your solutions, numbers at the ends of your bowls, numbers at the end of your brushes, so that you know you're using your 1s with your 1s, your 2s with your 2s. Step number 1, step number 2, okay? So we're going to start grabbing our bowl number 1 with our Lash Perm and our brush number 1. And I'm going to squeeze a pea-sized amount, and I will show you that. Give me 1 second. So here is my amount. Now for hers is a little bit more because her lashes are very thick. Okay, so I want to be able to penetrate all those lashes. Okay, so I'm going to just mix it a little bit just so that it spreads out nicely. Okay, and what I will do now is I like to get like a little ball like this, as much as I can on the tip. And I'm going to start applying it from the base, but I'm not going to go too close to the base, to the center. Okay. How are you feeling, Taryn?
Oh, good.
Good? Good, perfect. Always ask your customer because, as I mentioned, the glue, yes, on the lid, you need to find out if they're feeling a little bit of tingling, it's okay. But every step that you do, I always like to ask my customer if it's okay, if they're okay. Okay, you don't want them to not say anything and then go home and they've had this reaction, but they didn't bother to tell you anything because they thought it was okay to feel this way. Okay, so, and you see, because I put the lashes over taut, I don't have to do this lifting to reach underneath to the lash line. If I start to lift and start to put the solution, and then I put it as close to the lash line and then let go, what's going to happen is that solution is going to go into the eye, and that's where they're going to feel burning, and then you'd have to most likely end the service if you can't make it calm. So I always make them very, very taut, the hair, so that I can see that lash line and I have more control. Okay.
For the solution, it says 8 minutes. What is the maximum of time you could leave it on for clients who have thicker lashes?
Okay, so the question was for the solution number 1, the lash perm, it's 8 minutes, but what is the maximum time you can leave for people who have thicker, longer lashes? It is the same timing, 8 and 5 minutes. It stays like that. The only time you would redo it again and extend the timing is if you saw that that it didn't work. You got a very weak lift, and you want to go back in again the same seating. You can go put the lash, the solution for half the time, 4 minutes and 2.5. So that's, I've done the lash lift on a variety of different lashes, and it's all worked properly with the timing. But if you've removed the pad and you saw that the lift was very, very weak, then you can do it again on the same seating, but 4 minutes and 2.5, half the timing. Do not overextend that time, because we also, the aim of RefectoCil is to keep the lashes healthy. We don't do anything to damage the lashes, but if you're over processing, eventually you could stress out the hair. Our solution inside has cysteine and collagen. So with our cysteine, it's amino acids. We provide moisture to the hair. With our collagen, we're providing, the protein to the hair. So we're not doing anything to damage the hair. But once again, do not over process, as there's a limit that the hair can accept. Okay, and I'm being very generous with the solution. Once again, I'm not touching my tips. My tips have not been touched. And I can see some hairs already lifting, and she does have really coarse hair, but I'm saturating it. I'm saturating it so the solution can still go penetrate to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set my timer at 8 minutes. Okay, let me just see what other solution I have left. Perfect. I'm going to ask again, Tyrene, you're okay? You're feeling good? Okay. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is start my timer. And during that 8 minutes, now I did want to put a little bit more. I'm a little picky sometimes. Saturate the hair. Be generous with the solution, okay? I just want to put some more here. I see some people who put the solution and it's so little on there that you don't know how it's penetrating into the hair because it's so little that they use. You're being generous with it. Okay. Okay, perfect. So during that time now, the 8 minutes, what I can move on is to her brows. We've prepped her brow area, and now we can tint them. So I know I talked with my model and wanted to see what they wanted to achieve. They don't want their brows too dark, as they already are dark, and sometimes tend to fill them a little bit darker. But with the tinting, what I'm going to do, because she has some coolness in her hair, I'm going to put some graphite and some natural brown, and only leave it for 3 minutes because as my client had mentioned, my model, she doesn't want them too dark. So you see, you have time now to do a brow tinting during that 8 minutes. So upsell, 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 give them the complete lash and brow styling service in that 30 minutes, okay? So I am going to just mixing my brown. So I've got my natural brown, and I'm going to do this a 1-to-1 ratio.
It's hard to tell from here, but Perm solution creamy or gel-like?
It's creamy. Creamy. Yeah. So the question was, is the Perm solution gel-like or creamy? It's creamy, the Perm solution. Same with the Neutralizer. So I got my 1-to-1 ratios. Because she has that cooler blonder hair, I'm putting some graphite to cool down the brown. And I'm going to add my 15 drops of cream. And I'm going to give it a good mix. And I still have a little over 5 minutes, so that's perfect. At the beginning, you might need to time yourself, to be able to do this. Oops, sorry, in 30 minutes. So I'm going to mix. Now what's good to do as well after you've prepped the brows is to apply the protection cream around the brow so you avoid skin staining, and then you can create a good smooth brow look. Okay, so as I'm mixing it, I'm just mixing mixing the tint. And what I'll do is I'll apply that protection cream around her brow area so I avoid skin staining. Our protection cream is a beautiful product. It works as an eye mask as well. So when you're doing an eyelash tinting, it's nice to use it on behind of the protection papers to give your customer an eye mask treatment at the same time as they're getting their lashes tinted. So I love using this product. And I'm just avoiding touching the hairs. I'm just going all around where. Okay, so we've got that protection cream on, and now I could start putting the tint on. And if there's any questions you have on the lash lift, let me know. Can anybody like to give me some feedback on their...
About waxing the eyebrows, can you do it at the same day?
Yeah, waxing is done after tint. So always pluck, style, like a wax, or not pluck, tweeze, a wax, thread after you've tinted. So yep, you can do it all. If you can probably do it in that 30 minutes too. The only thing sometimes is that if the pad's covering the lid too much, you can't reach to the hair there, because we can do the strips, the brow styling strips that we have that you put on there and then you tint. But if your pads are covering the whole eyelid, it's pretty hard to see that hair. So it becomes optional waxing within that 30 minutes, but you can do it afterwards. After you remove the pads, you can shape the brows. I'm going to tilt like that. Thank you. It's already on the other side of the brow. It's been working, the tint. So, and I have about 2.5 minutes left. Now, if you feel that your timer went off for your lashes and your brows are still on there, you can quickly remove the brows or quickly go and remove the solution and then leave the lashes before you put the neutralizer, and then remove the brows and then go back to the lashes and remove add the neutralizer. Okay?
So we'll shape the brows after we take off the tint.
Yes, always shape. So the question is, do we shape after we take off the tint? And yes, always shape after tint. If you were to shape before, you have all these open pores that could create staining and also a reaction, a sensitivity reaction, because your pores are open. So, and then when you tint, you can see what the full brow looks like. Tilt this way for me. You can see the full, when you tint, you grasp all the hairs so that you can actually give them a better shape, because you're seeing all the hairs, especially if they have blonder hairs as well. So I'm just going in, filling in those touches.
New to RefectoCil. Do you prefer using the cream versus the gel developer when tinting?
So do I prefer using the gel or the liquid or the cream developer? That's optional to what you like the texture. I love creams, because at trade shows, I'm doing a lot of demos sitting up, so I find the creams work better for me. Otherwise, the results are the same. You're using less drops in your liquid. You're using 10 drops, as opposed to in your cream, you're using 15 drops to 2 centimeters of your tint. So it becomes preference. Tilt this way? Yeah. So I still have about under a minute. So what I can do is I could either remove the brows right at that minute or go to the lashes. And now, because my model, oh, sorry, this way. Oh, I just got to see this hair 1 second. Because my model didn't want them too dark, I'm most likely going to.
Does the Vaseline work for protection?
Now, does a Vaseline work for protection cream? The reason why we don't like saying to use Vaseline is because it's a very oily substance. It can become a barrier to the tint. Also, pads will tend to slip because of the Vaseline. So we don't suggest Vaseline. We do suggest our protection cream. But once again, it's becomes your option. I like keeping everything RefectoCil, and because I love that this works as an eye mask as well. So you know, and sometimes the Vaseline can be generic, like it can be clogging the pores for some clients. So with our protection cream, it doesn't do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, my time's up I have about 10 seconds left on the eyelashes. But what I want to do is actually remove the brows, because as I mentioned before, I actually didn't want them too dark. So I'm going to just take dry cotton pad first and just remove them. So they're just subtle enough with a little bit of coolness to them, matching her roots. Okay, I'll leave that one another 10 seconds on because I applied that second. And then what I'll do now, so now I'm multitasking, I'm going to go into the lashes and start in upwards motion, removing the Lash Perm Neutralizer. Upward motion like this helps the lashes to stay back down. And then you can apply glue, because I do see some lashes, even with me, see, it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not, your lashes will still pop up because of the glue. The glue dissolves pretty quickly, okay? So I'm just trying to make sure that there's no solution anywhere on the lashes. So now that I worked this eye, what I'm going to do now is take out the other brow. So you'll figure out your ways on how to make all this work together. Perfect. Brows look beautiful. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to go back to the other eye. And remove the solution. Yep. This way. Is it good? Yep. So once again, upward motion. And I'm going to, after, check where my lashes came off. I can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but on this, some of them did come off. They were the new growth.
Is the Q-tip wet?
Nope, the Q-tip is dry. So they asked me if the Q-tip is wet. Everything dry. If you apply water, what's going to happen? All the lashes are going to pop off, okay? Because it's dissolving the glue. So just dry Q-tip, upwards motion. I think someone asked another question. Natasha, I think. No? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my number 2 solution, my neutralizer. It is my neutralizer now that is going to,
If you
sorry.
the lashes left from the past while removing the solution, can you apply more glue before they apply neutralizer?
Yeah, so the question was, if you notice that your lashes are removing from the pads, as soon as, because you're removing the Lash Perm solution and now your lashes are popping up, yes, this is the step now that after you remove, you'll see it, I'm going to do it too, because from my side here, some lashes popped off. So I removed with a dry Q-tip the solution off in an upwards motion. Now she has no more Lash Perm solution. Now I can go back in and tack down those lashes. So what I would do is I would take my disposable lip brush, then I would take my glue. Oh, right there we go. And then I would go to that section that I saw the lashes popped up, apply the glue, give it that tackiness to, and I notice even here a little bit of the lashes are starting to pop. So I'm just placing it up there. And then what I will do now is take my orange wood stick, wait that 10 seconds, go back and start to apply those lashes back down.
There's a little separation in the other eyes that will show up in the one.
This one right here? Yeah, so there's a little separation. You can always bring them, straighten them out, and re-glue them down. Okay, there is a little bit of hair not grown out there. They're really short, so that's why there's a little bit of a gap. But it won't show the gap when we remove it. Okay. So what's the shelf life? Okay, the Lash Perm and the Neutralizer, they have dates on them. So for example, if I haven't opened it, my Neutralizer will expire November 2020. So there's a stamp there. It's going to be hard for you to see on the camera, but there's a stamp there. But once you've opened the Lash Perm and the Neutralizer, they expire 2 months. Very important that you take a Sharpie, you write the date of when you opened them, because 2 months comes by really quickly. And your glue is 3 months that it expires once opening. Okay, so I'm going to get my Neutralizer prepared. I think there was another question that popped up. Okay, so I got my piece size. I'm grabbing my bowl number 2, my brush number 2, and then my Neutralizer. Okay, same method as before, avoiding the tips and working from the base of the lashes to this, to the center. Okay. Once again, being generous with it. Now the Neutralizer is creamier and it's whiter, as you can see. Okay. Leaving the tips, very important. This step is good to remember because whoever has used the lash curl, we know that we were only putting the solution in the center of the lashes. So now you're having to adjust to remember that for the lift, it's base to center. Okay. And once again, being very generous with the amount. And you saw how easy it was to re-tack down, to put back down the lashes. It didn't take me 5 minutes. It took me a minute, maybe even under a minute if it was just 1 or 2 lashes. Okay. So once again, don't freak out or don't feel like, oh, my service is over because all my lashes came off. Nope, you continue it. Just make sure after you remove the Lash Perm solution, you get those lashes back down onto the pad, or else that's when you will not see a shape. If you put the Neutralizer on lashes that are sticking up off the pad, they're not taking any shape because they're not resting on that bump. Okay. So now my timing will be 5 minutes. During that 5 minutes, maybe if you want to clean up the brows, see, with her, I have canvas with my model to be able to clean her brows, although her brows are perfectly cleaned. But if you wanted to at this moment during the 5 minutes, you do have that canvas to work with. Otherwise, you got to wait until after you remove it all. Okay. So I'm finishing that. I'm going to start the timer at 5 minutes. And any questions during this 5 minutes, throw them out, because now you have my more full attention, because I have to wait till those 5 minutes are over for her. Okay, so I'm going to start my timer at 5 minutes. During this time, I always tell people, do not leave your customers alone when you're working in their eye area. So now that I've done her brows, what else is there to do? Well, we can't shape because her brows are shaped already. But what I can do is give her a nice little head massage, a hand massage, something that you're not leaving them alone in the room.
Why are you not wearing gloves?
So they asked me, why are you not wearing gloves during this service? It hasn't been mandated, is that the word? It hasn't been told that you're supposed to be wearing gloves, as like waxing and pedicures. If you're going to wear gloves, perfect, all the best for you. Hands should be washed, and I have with me, always carry with me, just whatever brand, but I always have a hand sanitizer with me. So, oh, sorry, did I just, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I just got my customer nice and clean. That's a good laugh. So sorry about that.
It's all right.
It's good? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you should always wash your hands with soap and water before your customer, but then have that in between of your hand sanitizer. But if you're going to wear gloves, by all means do it. It's always an extra precaution. But if you're wearing gloves, you still have to wash your hands. Doesn't eliminate you washing your hands wearing gloves.
Why do we not cover the tips?
So the tips don't need to be covered because we're not doing here a curl, we're achieving, if we start to shape the tips of the lashes too, they're going to be brought in more. We don't want that. We want the lashes to shoot straight up, to be lifted. So that's why we avoid doing the tips. Also, the tips are a little bit thinner, more frail. So we want to avoid putting solution on that. So which is good. A good thing to do is, if you feel like the lashes are going to stick up, you can actually put the glue, more glue, on the tip of the lashes to keep them down, as opposed to the rest of the lashes, so that you have a better canvas. Like, I mean, not more of a barrier, because the glue is now on the tips. But that's why we avoid doing the tips of the lashes. Okay, with a curl, same thing. Your lashes don't get solution on the tips, just the center, but because they're wrapped around the roller, they will achieve that bend. Okay.
When would you suggest a lift over a curl?
So when you would suggest a lift over a curl, once again, it's preference to what your customer wants to achieve. And that's why I had mentioned at the beginning of the webinar to please ask your customer, what is it they want to achieve? Do they want a curl? And explain them with your hands. Once again, when the camera comes back to my face, I will show you, do they want a curl, where they get a C curl or a J curl, just like your lash extensions? Or do they want a lift, where the lashes are going like this, straight up? And if there's a customer who's saying, I want my eyes to appear a little bit more bigger, I want my lashes to look a little bit longer because I've got short lashes, then you're obviously going to take them to a lift, because the lashes are going to shoot straight up, giving them the lashes looking longer. Both services, lash lift and lash curl, do curl and open up the eyes, but the lift will make the lashes look longer. Does that answer? Is that okay? That question? Any more any more questions? It's good, yeah. I'm giving her, she still has about a minute, but what you could have did in this timing too, yes, I did remove the brows with a dry cotton pad, but now is where I can put a little bit of water just to make sure that there's no tint anywhere. But we were pretty clean.
How can we choose right pads or shades?
How can we choose, right pads
or
shade? So the right pads, as I mentioned, is, as you see at the beginning of the webinar, I sized them. So let me grab them. So when I put this on the customer's lid, I wrap their lashes over, and if their lashes cover this whole bump, they're good. If the lashes go below the bump, then the pad is too big. If the lashes go over and start touching this free edge, then the pad's too small. So that's how you'll know that all the hairs have to rest nicely on this whole bump right here. Okay, all the way to the end right there. Now, as for shade, if you want to know what shade of color to use on your customer, well, usually it's your browns and your blacks that you use on your customer on their brows, right? For her, the reason why I mixed with our RefectoCil colors, you can mix and match. With her, why I put the graphite in is because if we were to see her hair afterwards, I don't know if you can see here, she has some blonde pieces, but they're cool pieces. They're almost grayish blonde. So I don't want to give her a warm brown. I want to give her a cool brown. So it's the shades that you choose is by looking at your customer's roots or their hair color to match it, if that helps for you. Does that answer the question?
So I usually use the tint remover to remove brow tint. Am I doing that wrong?
Okay, the question was I usually use tint remover to remove the brow tint. I would not use tint remover because if you're not staining the skin, tint remover is what it's called, tint. You're removing tint. Why do you want to remove that tint from the hairs that just grasped it? Water is just enough to clean any solution that's on the hair so that it doesn't like dirty their hands, they touch their brows. You want to just use water to clean that. Tint remover will lighten the brows, and they'll come back saying, well, they're not dark enough, or the color didn't stay. So just use water. Dry cotton pad and then just water. Tint remover is when you start staining. Or tint remover is also if the customer said, nope, too dark, I can't leave like this, my brows are too dark, lighten them for me. Then you're going to soften them with the tint remover. Okay?
The decline you previously tinted the lashes will the curl or lift, and the solutions used reduce the life of a tint on the lash.
So I repeat that question again, it was a long one.
They tinted the lashes.
They tinted their lashes, yeah.
They came for a curl or lift. Will that reduce the life of a tint on the lashes?
Yeah, it will. So the question is, so if they just say they went and they tinted their lashes a week ago and they're coming in now to do a lift, it can diminish that that color, because what you're happening again is that you're opening that follicle again just to penetrate these solutions for the lash lift, so it will fade. So it's always good for them to come, and it's not good to do such a close-up service. Wait till 3 weeks until the tint fades, then they come back for a lash lift, and then you tint afterwards for only 2 minutes, and then that way their tint's fresh onto their lashes as well.
After you're done, can you show how to apply that silicone pad underneath?
Yes, I can. So after we remove this, we can show how we apply the silicone pad on the bottom lashes for sure. I'm so sorry that I missed that step. Are the silicone pads reusable? Yes, they are. Oh, the silicone pads here in the lash lift are reusable up to as many times as you feel, maybe 99 times, 100 times. But what happens is that if you tint directly onto the pads, they start to get really dark. So then you're going to want to replace them. So always have spares. Yep, you can tint on them. I'm going to show you tinting onto the pads for those that really want to know. But when I have a paying customer, I always remove the pads, get protection paper underneath the bottom of the lashes so that I can saturate the top lashes and the tint penetrates to the bottom lashes. But here I'll show you how it's done onto the pad so that you can see that, because everybody would know how to tint. Oh, this way. Would know how to tint without the pads, right? So right now what I'm doing is I'm removing the neutralizer because the 5 minutes was up while we were answering the question. So a dry Q-tip. Once again, dry Q-tip. I'm removing the neutralizer. So because I want it to have a nice clean canvas, and always upwards. Don't start rubbing like this. Upward motion so that the lashes still stay on the pad for me for when I tint. Okay. Okay, so I removed the solution. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare and I'm going to use blue black on her. Blue black is our most popular color, and it's almost empty too. That's how popular it is for the lashes. If they want to use black, by all means use black. It's more matte than black. Blue black has a sheen to it, a shine to it, so that when it hits the lights, it gives that nice gloss to the lashes. So it's a popular color for the lashes. So I'm going to do my 2 centimeters with my 15 drops of cream, because I have cream that I'm using here. I will bring that to show you. Okay, so I've got my blue black on this side of the well. That's why I love these artist palettes. You can use them both for brows and lashes. So I got my 15 drops of cream. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix. Yes.
If they don't want to tint, how do you answer?
So if they don't want a lash tint, which I always say please do a lash, like excite them about a lash tint after a lift, because what will happen is when you tint those lashes and they darken, the effect of the lift and the curl looks even more dramatic as opposed to not tinting them. So now if they didn't want their lashes tinted, what you would do is you would take your wet cotton pad, saturate the lashes with the wet cotton pad so that the lashes can start lifting from the pad, and then you can remove the pad and then clean up the lashes properly, and then end it with the styling gel. But I'll show you those steps too after the tint. But always tell your customers that a tint will accentuate the results. Okay, so now I'm applying the tint. Oh, all right, okay. So now I'm applying the tint. Turn for me this way. And once again, I'm saturating it on there. Now people will like doing the tinting onto the pad because as you can see, it's easier. I didn't have to remove anything. But once again, if the client has blonder lashes, I can't reach close to that lash line. So I like removing the hairs from I like removing the lashes from the pad and then going direct and then putting a pad underneath and then saturating them because that way I can reach right to the lash line with the tint. So it'll become preference for you. Turn this way for me. And the tint only stays 2 minutes. You've already processed the hair. We know that before if we just do a lash tint, the tint stays on for 15 minutes, but 10 to 15 minutes, but now we're only doing 2 minutes because we've processed the hair and it will grass. Now if they had a little bit thicker lashes, you can go 3 to 4 minutes, but once again, do not risk over processing.
Should the lips then dry for 24 hours?
So water doesn't affect mascara. You have to wait 24 hours to put mascara on. So I'm just going to start my timer, 2 minutes. Mascara is 20. Let me just get this right. No, mascara is an hour later. Any oils are 24 hours. So water does not affect. They can go shower if they want it afterwards. I usually say don't go shower right away if you give an hour or so, but they said water does not, the manufacturer said water does not affect it, just mascara 1 to 2 hours after, and oils, any oils that you're going to use on your lashes 24 hours after. What happens if I leave the tint on longer? If I were to forget and leave it on for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we're over processing, and down the road, over processing can dry out the hair, and we're not about that with RefectoCil. We're about maintaining care of the hair and as well giving them the service they desire. So do not try to put it into your mind that it's only 2 minutes or max 4 minutes if they have thick lashes, because you will over process. Okay.
Lower lashes covered.
The lower lashes, because we didn't remove the pads, that's what I had explained before. The lower lashes are not getting tinted this way because they're underneath the pad, and we didn't remove the pad to go on to free the bottom lashes. So I always suggest, if you want to give them the maximum service, the best service, remove these silicone pads and then tint so that you can get the bottom lashes as well. I already started my timer, and the timer is going to end in 20 seconds, so pretty quick.
Will the tint relax the lift if applied after removing the silicone pad?
No, the question is, will the tint relax the lift after removing the silicone pads? No, it will not. It won't have any effect. There's no oils in there to weaken the lift or the curl. So you're fine. That's why we say it's okay to tint afterwards. Okay, so, and once again, removing the tint is with a dry Q-tip. Oh, I see something with my name on it.
Can there be a webinar on just tinting the lashes?
Can there be a webinar on just tinting the lashes? For sure. That I'm going to throw that out to our brand manager, and our next one can be tinting lashes, or together tinting lashes and brows, because the bottom lashes. Yeah, we can do a webinar like that. We do have previous webinars. We do have previous webinars on our RefectoCileEducation.com that you can go watch in the meantime. And then when we do a live one, it's perfect because you can ask questions and I can answer. But in the meantime, I suggest go to that website, RefectoCileEducation.com, and watch the lash and brow tinting. I even did a beard tinting if anybody's interested in doing beard tinting. And sensitive. We have a sensitive brand out there as well for people who might be allergic to the original. So check out those webinars, and then we'll do more. We'll do more live, because this way you're asking me these questions and I can answer you right away. So for sure, we will put that in to have a webinar on tinting brows and lashes. I'm going to remove with a dry Q-tip as my 2 minutes is up. I'm just gonna, don't want to shake the camera, but I have to reach in there.
Brands use their teeth in their lashes too long, even XL pads?
They're too long even for the extra large? So that's maybe where you might have to go to the rollers and double up your rollers. So the question is, some people use Latisse and their lashes are extremely too long for the pads, for the extra large pads. If they're going to come out with bigger pads, I'm not quite sure. I could always ask that. But if that's the case, maybe they can go to the lash curl and double up the rollers, put 2 rollers together. Because that's what happened to me when they were doing the lash curl on me. The extra large was not enough, so the trainer had to put 2 rollers together. For the lash lift, I'm not quite sure how that would work. So I can already see her lashes darkened really nicely. She did have light brown lashes, so. How are you feeling? Good, Tareen, good? Okay, good. Natasha, can I ask you a favor? Can you pass me a Q-tip? Sorry. If you can, just don't trip. Thank you. Sorry. So I'm just removing carefully with a dry Q-tip. We don't want to introduce water because we don't want it to get into their eye. Okay.
Is there a reason not to use intensive brand or tints with RefectoCil lifting product?
Is there no reason to use intensive brand with our lash lift? Mm-hmm. Oh, if you have the intensive lash lift and you want to use our RefectoCil, if you have the intensive tints and you want to use our RefectoCil lash lift, by all means you can. There's no. We do like keeping them all within the same, like using a RefectoCil tints and RefectoCil lash lift. But yeah, you can give it a try with your intensive. It should work. I'm just going to put some tint remover because some tint touch your skin. I'm just cleaning up her skin area there because some tint did touch it. So I'm almost done with the dry Q-tip. I'm going to do another little check just to make sure that I don't have too much excessive amount. And I'm going to take my cotton pad, put a little bit of water to it.
What type of tint remover did you use?
I used our RefectoCil tint remover. I'll show it to you. So I used our RefectoCil tint remover. Okay, because I had a little bit of tint on her skin and I didn't want it to stain a lot, so I went right away. So I have my water. Sorry, I'm going to put a little bit more water. And I'm going to flip the pad like this, just rest it on the silicone pad there so that the tint can, gravitate to the water. And I'm going to do that with the other eye. Okay. I'm just going to, you can see already the lashes are starting to pop off. Now on the back side, I'd like to just apply, it comes off pretty easily, but I like to put the water too so I'm not tensioning too much their skin, like lifting too much of skin. You can do that with the other side. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, something sort of burning there.
Last side? Okay, I'm going to put some cool pad. 1 second. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put... So the cotton pad was wet, yes. Now she's feeling a little bit of it because I can see a little bit of tint went into the eye. So I'm going to put this to cool it right away, some cool water on a cotton pad so that it doesn't get too irritated. She does have some tint close to her lash line. That's another reason why I love removing the pads and working at it without the silicone pads on the lid. I have a better view of what's going into their eye. Does that feel a little bit better?
Mm-hmm.
And do the same thing with the other eye. So I don't feel any irritation. Cool water. I have always a bottle with me with cool water. If you're right by the sink, or bring a nice bowl with cool water beside you, so that if they ever feel irritation, you do this and they immediately feel that it's not irritating them. Okay.
If you tilt the head and flush with water, could that work?
If they start to feel extremely burning, do a flush. I don't do a flush when there's a lot of tint on the eye, because then the tint's going to go into the eye. So a flush is something I would do at the end if they felt stinging, extremely stinging into their eye. So I'm going to ask my model to carefully, slowly, I know there's a ring light in her face, so that might be a little bit irritating to her. But if you can, I want to be able to clean underneath and see if there's any tint I left anywhere. So if you can slowly, and then you can let me know which eye feels irritated. Is there an eye that feels the light, right? What if I do like that and you open? Is there any eye that feels?
It's a slight little burn, but it's gone. It's going away.
It's going away because I can put some more coolness. Cool.
No,
yeah.
Yes. Just adjusting
to the light. Dark. Your lashes look so dark. And also, like, the glue in between here and this section here is where the lids start to stick together, and you're telling your customer, open your eyes, you can open your eyes, and they're not opening them. You're like, you can open your eyes. It's because it's stuck in between there. So I always take the cool water and try to release them. How did the rest, like, do you feel anywhere glue?
I don't feel anything anymore.
No? You're good? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So now how we would end the service is I would grab my styling gel. Okay, so this is what it's going to do. It's going to hydrate. We just did a service. We just processed, just like when you go to the salon and you do your hair. They don't just shampoo it, they condition it. And then it's going to hydrate. It's also going to protect the service. It's going to protect the color. And you can see how dark her, I couldn't know if you can remember before from the beginning, her lashes weren't this dark. But now that her lashes are so dark, her eye color even pops out even more. And her lashes, you can see them. Yeah. Tinting in the lash lift and the lash curl, they should all last 4 to 6 weeks, depending on also how the customer is taking care. This product here is a retail product, so they should buy it and bring it home. If they find that the tint doesn't last long on them, they can buy this and it can secure the service to last longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it on her lashes. And this is okay because there's no oils in this. So this is okay to apply it right away. It was just mascara we wouldn't be able to apply right away. It would be 1 hour to 2 hours. But she doesn't need mascara. They're very nice and dark. And then finish off the brow. Gives it a nice gloss as well. Hydrates the hair. And then maybe if we get her after the model to stand up, Terry, we could show their results. I'm just gonna. Okay. And then when the hair dries on the lashes, when it dries, the curl or the lift will be more intensified because now they're wet from the water and the styling gel. As soon as they dry, the curl and the lift will show even more. Okay, so we'll just
after the gel.
So no, if you want to use mascara, If you want to use mascara, you're gonna have to wait an hour or two. Don't go right away after this service and do a mascara because it will diminish the effect. So I would say if they can hold off for up to 2 hours, then tell them to hold off. If they're gonna put it right away, warn them that it could lessen the effect of their lift. Okay, but when the customer has gotten their lashes, that's why I always say get them to tint their lashes afterwards because they would avoid wearing mascara. I could see her lashes clearly and beautifully and dark, and she can start wearing the mascara tomorrow if she wanted to. But what I'd like to do is maybe get her to, can we transition the camera, Natasha? So maybe if she sits up, they can see it better. Okay, so give us a moment. There's going to be a lot of wobbling and shaking. I want you guys to see the model when her head's up straight. So give us a minute. Oh, sorry, there it's wobbling. Oh, wobble again. I have to. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to get you to light up. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that question. Thank you. Okay, so it's the pads. Let me quickly show you because some people's bottom lashes, hers are long. So instead of having to do this during the service, pulling apart if you connected them, make sure you use these black silicone pads. So let me just make sure I get them in the camera. Perfect. And what I will do is okay, look up. I would place them on top of the bottom lashes and it holds them down. Close your eyes. And when she closes her eyes, now when I'm rolling up, I don't have to worry about attaching the bottom lashes. Sorry, I'll do it a little bit better. Okay, now close. There we go. Is that helpful for the person who had asked the question? Just give me a thumbs up or say thank you so I know that it was helpful for you. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. That's all you have to do. Simple. And the silicone pads stick onto the skin. If they don't stick onto the skin, maybe they have a lot of foundation going on, so I'd have to wipe that part off. But then these pads, you can disinfect them and clean them and disinfect them, and then you can reuse them for a couple of times until the silicone part stops to not stick. So that was helpful. Okay, so think of any questions you want to ask. We're going to get our model up so that you can see her for the silicone pads. Oh, the kit, if I'm correct, salon pricing is about $149, I believe. And the curl, sorry? Oh, there's a different price. The curl is cheaper than the lash lift because the lash lift has the reusable silicone pads, so that's why it costs a little bit more. But the lash curl, you can't reuse the rollers. Okay, so yeah. Let me just get our model up. Should I straighten this too or no? Oh, put it in her face so they can see it? No? No? Okay. Do you want her to come this way? So return. Thank you. You want me? Oops. You're good. You're good. Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna get you to come here so that we can do the side. Well, even just look straight. Even just looking at her front view, you can see that her lashes are sticking up. And then if you do the side view, turn this way. And then she gets the side, but look straight, like that. Yeah. Okay. Is it kind of dark? Should I put a light? Yeah. They can see. Yeah. Yes, you can purchase the items individually in the kits. They're sold individually, so you can. Thank you. So you can buy the silicone pads individually, the glues, the lash perm solution, everything. You can buy them individually. How do you guys? Oh, thank you guys. I see Cindy and Val. Thank you for saying you look beautiful. It is nice and beautiful. Yes, thanks. So our lift, right now we took longer than half an hour because of all the questions and going step by step and showing. But you should be able to do those 3 services of a lash lift, a brow tint, and a lash tint. All if. We can say 40 minutes if it's somebody's lashes are a little bit more causing you trouble.
Video showing gray brown.
A video.
Hairs being tinted.
Where's that? Oh, gray brown. So you wanted to know if there's a video for showing the gray and the brown the colors. You can check my webinars. Majority of my webinars, I do say that I like to mix the graphite because it does cool down. Our browns have a very warm undertone. So if I were just to use brown on Tyrene, because she has a little bit of a warmer undertone, they will turn more reddish. So I had to put a little bit of the graphite to accommodate her hair that she has. She has that blonder, grayish, clean, cool blonde. So I had to mix the graphite. So we do have these little booklets I can show you. If you ask your local distributor that carries RefectoCil for these styling books, and they will show you how to mix the colors, okay? Even to going a little bit more to funky colors as well, where you will mix the graphite, okay? But these booklets are should be disposable, should be, what's the word called? Accessible at a distributor. If not, give us a call and we'll try and find a distributor close to near you that can carry these. They cost about maybe $7, I'm not quite sure, but you hang them up and they've got swatches at the back side, so you can match the color of the hair that they have, and this is what they would achieve in their when you tint. Okay, but check my webinars on RefectoCileEducation.com, and I'm sure in a lot of them I did do the mixing with the graphite for you to see the ratios. Usually when you want to cool down a color, your blacks, if you want to cool down your blacks or your browns, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Half the brown, half the graphite to create the 2 centimeters, and then you have your 15 drops of cream or 10 drops of your liquid. Any other questions?
No, we're good.
Yep. Yes. So I'm happy that everybody was able to attend the webinar today. We had a good turnout. I hope everybody can purchase.
What is the price range to charge?
To charge, okay, what is the price range to charge your client for a lash lift? So it depends on your demographics and the area where you're working at, but roughly we say $50 to $85 is without a lash tint. If you start to tint the lashes, then if you're going to $100, from $90 to $100, you should be including a lash tint as well. Now, if you're doing brows, you're going to do a nice combo pricing. So if you're going to charge $125, you should be able to include a lash lift, a brow tint, and a lash tint. But it varies in your demographic as well. There's some places you can go a little bit higher because your customers are willing to pay that much more. Yeah. It's good. The solution for the lash perm and neutralizer are the same for the lift and the curl. Yes, they're both the solutions. You can use them on your curl and the lash lift. Yep.
Someone is asking if you're going to the class at the Chicago show for the IECSCS show in March.
In New York?
In Chicago.
Oh yeah, we do have a class in Chicago. I believe it's most likely 10 o'clock in the morning. I have to check for you again, but we are doing a RefectoCil class in Chicago if you're attending the beauty show. We will be doing a RefectoCil with lash lift. So once again, it will be, you're going to see the presenter. I won't be there. It will be my other educator, Joy, and she'll do the same thing as I did today, talk a little bit about the product and then do a demonstration. And also, this webinar we just did today, it's going to be created into a link form that you can watch this video again on your own time, slowly, pause, fast forward, do some parts so that you can re-educate yourself. Like if you've tried and you were having some issues, we'll have this link sent out, and it will be also on our website, RefectoCileEducation.com, for you to be able to watch this webinar again. But we will be sending it out to all the email registries. That we're doing, Natasha? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Will you be at Dallas?
We will have a RefectoCil booth in Dallas. Unfortunately, I won't be there, but it'll be another one of my trainers there. Most likely Phoebe, I believe, will be there. So we will be at Dallas. Just keep an eye open. San Antonio, yeah. Yeah, we will be. We are at almost every single trade show. RefectoCil, so it's just most of the trade shows is under GMT, I believe.
Any fragrances in the product?
Any fragrances in the products? No, no fragrances in the products. They don't smell. For the lash perm, when you first squeeze it out of the bottle, you do get that little bit of a perm scent to it, but that scent goes away in 10 seconds. So after that, your service on the bed, Tareen, my model, you can shout out. Did you smell anything?
Just for like the 10 seconds, exactly like that, and then it went away.
And it went away. See, so just for the 10 seconds, she smelled the lash perm, and then it dissipates right away. So there are unfortunately lash lifts out there that smell throughout the whole service, which makes me as a professional uncomfortable, and it makes your client uncomfortable because it smells like in the 80s going down the salons, right? And you can smell that lash perm. So that's a good thing about ours as well. It doesn't 10 seconds and it's gone. The smell.
For those with allergies.
For those with allergies. So if they're a customer that's extremely sensitive even to touch, this is where you're going to always remember, I need to do a patch test. You always need to do a patch test. If they've got allergies and their skin is a little bit more sensitive in their eye area because of allergies, then you're going to for sure not forget to do a patch test and figure it out. You can't just eyeball it and be like, oh, are they going to be allergic or not? You don't want to risk that. So take your Lash Perm solution, your neutralizer, and your glue, put it on their forearm, inner forearm, or behind their ear. Usually behind the ear is a more sensitive area, so it's good to put it there. Send them home after you wipe it off, and then see if they're going to have a reaction. The only thing I've had a reaction was with the Lash Lift glue, because it's going on to more of your skin area of the lash lift, because you're putting it on the back of the pad. The glue is touching a lot of skin as opposed to a lash curl. So if I had a customer who was extremely sensitive even to the touch. You touch her and she turns red. So she reacted to the lash lift glue, and on that hand, I know I marked on my paperwork for her, on my client card, that for the next visit I'm only using a lash curl on her because she wasn't allergic to a lash curl, because the glue, there's not a lot of glue that we use on the skin. But this you'll always find out from patch tests.
How long before you wipe it off?
How long before we wipe off the patch test? You're putting them on, you don't have to leave them the full timing. I would leave it on there for like a minute, because a tint, you can't leave it that long. You got to wipe it off after, right? So a minute of the solution on there, and then just wipe them all off, and then send them home, just to see if they're going to get any reaction, right? Because it's penetrating it to the skin. It's going to start to do something, and then you'll know.
Have you ever had a lift not work?
Have I ever had a lift not work? I haven't had a lift not work, thank goodness. It's really, when you're doing a webinar, and you don't want that happening. But I've had it at the beginning when I was testing out the lash lift, because I was always trained in a curl. So when I tried the lash lift, I was just struggling, meaning that my lashes weren't staying on the pad. I was getting the solution to their eye because I was going so close to the lash line. So then my results turned out wonky, meaning some lashes were lifted, some were not. But practice makes perfect, right? So I had to just get models and models and models and practice, get my technique proper, and also become one with the glue. Oh, did we just lose? Nope, okay. The glue is where you will find more, what's the word called? Difficulty is with the glue, because of the lashes wanting to pop off, and if you don't leave that time, that seconds, that crucial 10 seconds, that timing of 10 seconds to allow it to dry is crucial. If you put the glue on and you start rolling the lashes right when the glue is wet, your lashes just keep on popping off. If you put the pad right on the lid when it's wet, the pad will just pop off. So when I say become one with the glue, literally become one with the glue. Let it be your best friend, or else you're not gonna like it, right? If you don't learn to use the glue. Otherwise, everything else, the steps are so simple. The pads are nice. We're getting feedback from people that our silicone pads are amazing and soft, because there's silicone pads out there that are so stiff and hard that they don't bend nicely onto the eyelid. So we're thankful for that our silicone pads are nice and soft and fit all the eyes. Every single eye I've done, they fitted perfectly. Yeah. More questions? I love these questions. They're helpful when you're on a live webinar.
Can you show them the glue?
Yeah, you want to see the glue, the difference between the lash lift glue and the, the lash lift glue and the curl glue. So I'm going to grab the curl. So the curl glue is white. Oh, thank you. There we go. So, I'll stop taking it out, sorry. Okay, so the lash lift glue is a clear solution like this, and it dissolves really quickly, just even to the touch of the water. And the Lash Perm. The Lash Lift. This is the Lash Lift glue. The Lash Curl is a white texture. I don't know if you can tell, but it's liquidy. It's milky. And this is the one that we say when you're using in the curl that you have to use very little. See, it's opposite now. Lash Curl, very, very, very little glue. You're only dabbing it on because it takes forever to break down with the water to dissolve. Lash Lift, which is the clear one, you can use more. You can be more generous with it. It won't become a barrier to the solutions.
Will you be at the Vancouver Spa Show?
Vancouver Spa Show, we won't be at that one, unfortunately. Thank you. We're going to be at the New York one in March, Chicago. We'll be in the Philadelphia one. We'll be Long Beach. If I can remember all of them. We'll be in Toronto. We'll be at the ESI show. We'll be at the AVA show. So just Vancouver, yeah, we don't do that show, unfortunately. So I lied. We're not doing every single show. But yeah. But keep always up to date with our website. Have that website, RefectoCil Education, somewhere, because everything gets updated on there. Everything, all our webinars, all our mini video clips. We have little mini funky clips too, like more with models and stuff like that are really nice to watch as well. They're pretty quick. And then you can even use those running into your salon, like if you have it on the TV as well, so that customers come in, they can see these different services that they can get done. As I mentioned as well, I have on a beard tinting webinar. You can use our RefectoCil tints to tint the beard. More and more men are coming in for these services because they're just have all these tricolors in their beards, and they want that young look too, because they'll have gray in it or reddish. And you can tint now without causing them any irritation, as some other products do.
Can you do extensions after a lift?
Can you do extensions after a lift? I don't dabble into hair extensions, but I'm not quite sure if the glues have come a long way with lash extensions. If they're not that harsh and you can do one, sure. But I would still say after 2 weeks. I wouldn't go right away after you did a lash lift and go into a lash extensions. Also, speak to your lash extensionist. When that curl starts to diminish and you have those lash extensions onto the hair, is it going to create something? Is it going to be too heavy after on the hair? So always ask, you should be ask this question to your lash extensionist as well. If you got a lash lift and the next day you want to go get extensions, see if it's okay to do that. I wouldn't overdo such a processing because the glues in the lash extensions are a little bit harsh. So I'd be careful. Yeah. So any other questions you have, we can answer them. If you want to directly email me, we can write it into the address. We can write it into there, my email. If you're ever having any problems, actually, I should put my email in there. If you're gonna go grab a kit, you're gonna try the kit, and you might encounter some roadblocks along the way. You can always feel free to call me. We can troubleshoot it together. After you watch the video and you still struggle, call me as well, and we'll go through it. So I'll make sure to put in there my email address as well. Okay. So I believe, we got that magic. I just have to blink my eyes and it's on there. Yeah, there you go. So my email's down there. But I appreciate everybody's attendance. I appreciate all the questions. I love when questions are asked because then I can answer them for you and you can leave confidently and go and try this product. So you get your hands on it, try it, and let me know your feedback. I love to hear feedback, okay? Once again, thank you so much for being here, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day, okay? Thank you.